So this is the front piston caliper on the 1979 Jeep Cherokee, and we're going to rebuild this. So we've got the sliding pins that run through here. There's a couple of O-rings inside here. We've got a rebuild kit along with new pads and a new piston seal for the piston, and we're going to just walk through how to kind of disassemble this and kind of show you what all is on the inside. There's a million YouTube videos out there about how to do this. There's a little, you can barely see it, but there's a little copper, and it's just been on there since 1979 probably, copper washer. So we need to clean it out and make sure all components can breathe. All right, so first step, getting the piston out. On a single piston, it's quite easy. I do put something in here. You can use your old brake pad, a little block of wood, something to catch that piston as it comes out. We're going to take compressed air and shoot it into the where the banjo bolt goes, which is where your brake line bolts to, and it's going to pop it out, and it's going to come out lightning quick. Keep your fingers out of the way. Boom! Just like that. Set that to the side. And we can pull this guy out. And you can see inside there, it is black as night. Oh my God. That is brake fluid. So, yeah. I mean, that is like burnt oil. Holy cow. So we need to give this thing a good cleaning. If you had a parts cleaner or something like that, you can completely disassemble this and really kind of go to town. So we don't have that. I'm just going to do a bench top rebuild. And the next step is going to be to take the bleeder screw out. Should be a 10 millimeter. Yep. Hopefully this guy isn't rusted in there. If you hear any loud thumps, that is my daughters upstairs doing their thing. What 10-year-olds and 6-year-olds do, most fathers are lost on. All right, see if that helped any. Oh my God. Okay, well, I managed to not catch it on camera, but where I said it, I attempted to take off the bleeder screw and it just snapped off. And so this is kind of ground to a halt. I'm not set up to drill and tap that out, that kind of thing. And it clearly wasn't going to function anyways. You can see the rust. It was just completely rusted solid. So this whole thing is ground to a halt, but I already have the rebuild kit and everything. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the video of rebuilding it, even though I'm going to have to go ahead and buy a new one of these. So the next few steps that we can take are going to be the seal that this sits in. Actually has kind of a metal ring. Some of the more modern ones, the whole thing is rubber. And so that rubber, that's metal ring, which is around the edge here, just kind of do your best to clean it off. You know, I was able to rebuild the other one. I wanted to do it first just so I knew, you know, every step by step. I could make the video a little bit easier to film. And Where's my WD-40? A little WD-40 in there to soak on that while we work on the O-rings that are in the sides here. So these pop out. You have new ones in the rebuild kit. Yep, that can go on the ground because we're not going to use it again. And pick up a set of picks from your local Chinese box store. And I don't know, is it coming up in the video? No. So you can just barely see it. I mean, it kind of blends in with the rust, but there's a rubber O-ring you can see in the pack. Go ahead and rip open the pack and show you. So there's a rubber O-ring that we're going to replace in there. And it kind of sits recessed into the metal, so it takes a little bit to take it out. Here it comes. See? Pop. Doing a little lube. Kind of work the new one in. Like that. Same for the other side. This side popped out. Okay, so same thing for up here, but they're much smaller. So just kind of have to do what you can to get in there. There it goes. Pull that guy out. And the last one. There we go. That probably made it look a little bit easier, but like I said, I did the other side. And it went right in. Okay, so now to this guy. What I found works fairly easy. This, see, it looks like it might not be too bad. Is that I wasn't able to get under it and pry up. It's a pretty snug fit. And there's just enough rust, I think, in this area that it just doesn't want to come out easily. So I just went and pushed it out. It's a metal piece. I can get right on that edge. Is it coming through? There's just a lip there. That's the edge of the metal right here. It looks like it's the same color, but you got the rubber seal, and then this right here is actually part of the metal lip of the seal, and then that's the edge of the caliper. So I'm getting on that, and I'm just going to push it through. And it's going destroy it, but we're replacing it anyway. Come on. What I don't want to do is damage the caliper, because that will reduce the sealing effectiveness of the new one. Just trying to nail that metal part. That is the seal. Guy up a little bit. There it goes. Come on now. There we go. I can get under that and it'll come right out. So nasty. Okay. And the last part is to do with my pick. Where'd that damn thing go? Oh, it's right here in front of me. Alright, so this is the rubber that makes the caliper work. And if you've never done this before and you were never sure how a caliper works, this is it. So it is, get in front of the camera there. It is a obviously round seal that goes over the piston. It'll slide over the piston like that. This is stretched out because it's used, an old seal, but it is a snug fit against that. And if you can look closely, see if I can get it to focus, you can see it's actually square. It's not like an O-ring where it's round. The surface is square, and what causes the piston to operate is it's only moving just a hair to engage the brakes, just ever so slightly. The brakes are usually just floating right next to the disc, the rotor. Couldn't think of that for a second, but floating right next to the rotor. And when it applies, when you apply brake pressure and brake fluid, the hydraulic system basically applies hydraulic fluid to the back of this, and it pushes this into and the brake pads attached to the side of that into the rotor. It rocks this square tube as it goes. It's going to rock just ever so slightly backwards, just the littlest bit, and that twisting motion is what allows it to spring back. So when you let go of the brakes, just the pressure of this little square O-ring wanting to twist back into a natural resting state is what brings it back. And as your brake pads wear down, the whole thing kind of slides on this and kind of comes in forward. But as you can see, this one's just loose, and you know, it's the kind of thing you want to do. It's not a regular maintenance kind of thing like you replace with your brake pads, but I would consider doing it, you know, at the point where you're, you know, maybe 2 brake flushes in. You know, should flush your brakes occasionally. You might consider, this one looks like it's never been done. That is disgusting and terrible. That brake fluid is completely ruined. So, assuming I had the bleeder screw out and everything functioned correctly, you'd clean this thing as thoroughly as you can. I mean, I'm talking, I take a little bit of WD-40, and I'll take Scotch-Brite pad, and I will, not always bring it to a complete polish, but I clean this guy off, because remember, you want that nice smooth surface for that new O-ring to be able to rock back and forth on. So You want to clean that guy up, clean inside there the best you can, and once it's all nice and clean, you also want to double check your, especially on these older ones, and this guy you can't clean out. It's completely rusted solid. Had this guy come out, I might have been able to get a new one of these bleeder screws, but it's trashed. The Banjo bolt I will have to reuse, so hopefully this isn't bad, but brake fluid goes through the center of it, comes out that, rather it goes from your brake line through this little hole and out the center into your caliper here, and you just want to make sure that that guy is nice and clean. I got the focus on this all wrong. Yep, you can see it squirting out. So, yep, you just want to clean up everything and take off the old brass washers. You'll get new ones with the kit, and then reinstall. I'm going to pause the camera momentarily for cleaning. I'll just clean it up a little bit, and then we'll come back to the install. All right, so these guys are the new ones, and they just slide in that O-ring, and you want to push them down flush like that. They will sort of set themselves where they need to be once you've put everything together, you got the brake pads on, and you install it. And essentially you want to put some of that high temp brake lubrication that comes, if it doesn't come with your kit, you can get the little packets of it at your parts store, and you just kind of want to coat these pieces. You want to coat the outside of this guy so that, because it will move a little bit on that O-ring, so you want to get that nice and coated, and coat the end of that guy so that it moves in and out of that O-ring that's up there as well. All right, and for the new seal, comes with a new seal, and it comes with a new square O-ring, and you can see where right in there in that little lip, get that pick, where that O-ring sits, right in that little groove. And that goes in quite easy like that. We're going to need to lubricate it so the new guy, the new piston will slide in pretty easily. And then you want to, that's too high. You want to install this onto the piston first. Give it a little lubrication. It should just slide right over that. Whoop. And the lip of it rests on that little shoulder. And you can see the little groove that it goes in. So just push it down and all the way up into that kind of position, like that. And then this is where it's a snug fit, so you can't just easily press it down. You definitely, I'm going to end up using a seat clamp to do it. And you definitely want to have one of these openings in the back open completely. So the Banjo bolt is out. That's to, allow for air to escape as I press this in, because it's that tight of a seal. If it's not in there, you'll have that much more difficulty pressing this down. There you go, kind of center it up and just ease it in with the C-clamp. Just work it down slowly, and it'll just slide past that square O-ring. And you want to take it all the way to the bottom. I'm sliding off the center there. There we go. Take it all the way till the bottom's out, and you can feel it can't go down any further. Yep, that's the end. Alright, this seal should still be a little loose. It's not all the way down. And you gotta smack it in, but I couldn't find an easy way to get it to go in. There we go. And so I found that or smacking it in around this is difficult to get to. So I found if I press down, I can press with my fingers the ends there, and it causes the far back, and it causes the front here to pop up. There we go. And that's what I want. So I want it, I should be able to, it was on the other one, should be able to kind of press in without much difficulty the back and the sides where the front is completely up. And then I just took this guy, applied some pressure in the back. Hopefully it doesn't pop up on me. Come on. There it goes. Oh, get in there. All right, that appears to be as in snugly as it will possibly go. It's up just a bit right there. Okay, I think that's about as good as it's going to get, and that should be good enough. I mean, we can slightly test it by applying just a little bit of air. Don't want to launch it out. Oh, module holes on this side. Just a little bit of air. Yeah. That looks good. Set it back down with the seat clamp. That is that, essentially. Bring this back down, and then you'll be ready for brake pads. You pop the brake pads in. Make sure again that your banjo bolt and the brake bleeder screw, you can take the brake bleeder screw all the way out. And so you do that on the cleanup, take that brake bleeder screw all the way out and blast some brake cleaner through it. Make sure it's clear. If not, order a new one. Like if it's rusted solid like this other one, order a new one, and you're done. It'll slap onto the rotor and you're good to go. So thanks for watching.